tensions are higher than they've ever been, likely than at the point of the Cuban Missile Crisis. This right here is Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. And Ukraine is at the center of mounting tensions between the United States and Russia. Now, these two countries obviously have been at it for a long, long time now. What's ironic here is we were allies with Russia during the two world wars, World War I and II. And then 1945, all of a sudden, after the war ended, boom! Atomic secrets get out, and we're all of a sudden enemies with Russia. The Cold War begins, the military-industrial complex kicks into overdrive, and before his exit in 1961, when he gave his final address, Dwight Eisenhower warned us about the military-industrial complex. I'm actually going to put a link below in the description that gives you his full speech, and it's a great speech. I recommend everybody who hasn't heard it, please listen to it. It's a great one. It's a great warning against what we have in this country that is spreading death and destruction around the world right now. So, it's no secret to most people who know this issue or any other issue as far as foreign policy is concerned that the goal here is profit. It's just about profit. And I do believe, this is my own speculation at the moment because we don't have verification, but I do believe that Biden pulled out of Afghanistan in part because the military-industrial complex was in his ear saying, okay, we'll let you withdraw from Afghanistan, but we want to go after a bigger fish next. And then you started seeing tensions escalate with China. People weren't exactly buying into that. You may have noticed China and the bad talk about them have fallen by the wayside lately. Then, of course, this happens. And all of a sudden, oh, Russia's the baddie all over again. And now, 8,500 troops are on standby to possibly go over to the Ukrainian border and escalate tensions even more to where it could erupt into World War III? Biden, what the fuck are you thinking? And even Ukraine came out and was like, whoa, calm down, kids. This isn't anything to get physical over. And Ukraine specifically aimed at the United States was, guys, stop with the theatrics, quit raising the alarm, lower the DEFCON here. We're not in any real serious danger. And most of the areas in Ukraine that Putin seems to be interested in are ethnically Russian. Now, if they, as a free people of Ukraine, decide to do that and they want to go over and join Russia, well, sucks for Ukraine, but if that's what they want to do, I say let them do it. I mean, they annexed Crimea, but the part of Ukraine that was Crimea and is now part of Russia, that area is 70% Russian. So they kind of wanted it. And it was like, all right, we may disagree with things like that, but hey, we're hypocrites. What do we know? We have imperialist goals all over the world. What have we done to Puerto Rico since 1898? What do we do to Alaska? What do we do to Hawaii? What have we done to Guam? What have we done to, the Virgin Islands? What have we done to a lot of these places? And even more, hey, what have we done with Venezuela? What have we done with Colombia? What have we done with Honduras? What have we done with Panama? What have we done with all these other areas of South America in general where they've had resources that we just wanted to capture and make a buck on? We are one to talk when it comes to imperialist goals and ambitions. Now, it's probable, not just possible, but probable, that Vladimir Putin wants to reconstitute the old Soviet Union. But that's just not politically or economically feasible. I mean, they should have learned that lesson the first time. A good part of why the Soviet Union collapsed, aside from the fact that the West was always interfering with their economy, trying to shut them out, which, was just complete, warfare. That was economic warfare. And there was no reason for it. Congress never declared war in that sense, so it was effectively a war crime. Everything we've done to Russia since the Cold War, what we did to Iran, what we're doing to Venezuela, and so on and so forth, they're all war crimes. All of them. And nobody knows that better than the people who are suffering under our boot heel. I really love what's going on right now with Chile. Chile just, they got a new government now. It's more of a socialist-oriented government. They're rewriting the Constitution. I will be really interested to see how that turns out. And so far, it's looking pretty good. So, way to go, Chile. Keep it up. But as to what we're doing in Russia, What the fuck? Why are we doing it? Why? Why? You're cutting Russia out of a global market for no reason other than you want to measure your fucking cock to the world and tell everybody that you're number one. Oh my God. Anybody with 2 brain cells to skull fuck with knows that war with another nuclear power is a bad idea. Doesn't matter what they are. I mean, you had India and China that were at each other's throats for a while. I don't know if tensions are still high there or not, but those are 2 nuclear powers. If they had gone at it, oh my God. That area of the world, which is chock full of natural resources, can you imagine what would have happened if 2 nuclear weapons had been launched in those 2 countries? India, Indochina, as they say, that region of the world is just some of the most loaded with natural resources on Earth. Oh yeah, capitalism would definitely be done then, right? So much for doing business with India and China. Nuclear waste over there, you wouldn't be able to go back there. And whatever resources you could get out of there would be radioactive. Nuclear war is not good here. And you have some of our politicians who are just like, they consider a first strike option. Where are the guys with the nets and the white coats for these people? Where are they? I don't see them. They're nowhere. Oh, why? Okay, that's right. Our healthcare system is disastrous anyway, and crazy is the new normal, apparently, in our foreign policy. So, first nuclear strike means game, set, match, we're all dead. That's what that means, you idiots. Any nuclear strike on anybody, I don't care where it's from. If it comes from Washington, if it comes from Moscow, if it comes from Beijing, if it comes from London, if it comes from fucking New Delhi, wherever it comes from, we all die. Nuclear war is off the table. No way. Absolutely not. And Ukraine is being the adult in this situation because, again, they're telling the United States, simmer down. Settle down, cowboy. Don't get anxious here. So, yeah, I say, okay, let Ukraine handle this. They think they can handle it, let them handle it. And as to Russia, why the fuck are we sanctioning them anyway? What's the point of it? You're just denying people some of the most basic things they would need to live. Why do that? What have the Russian people done to us? Nothing. Nothing. If you're in the West, particularly the United States, and you're trying to build up troops on the Ukrainian border like that, how are you going to see that? The Russian people probably see that as an act of aggression. Right? I mean, you see people in fatigues and guns showing up near your border, you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Why are you coming at us like this? Like, I have no issue with Russia at all. I mean, I speak Russian. And I know a little bit, maybe not much, but just a little bit about their culture. If we understood these people a lot better than we actually do, my guess is we probably would not be so quick to want to push that red button. We can live on this world together. I mean, we could cooperate in so many ways to do a lot of things. Nuclear proliferation, that's a must. Addressing climate change. Establishing a more cooperative global economy with each other where jobs aren't outsourced, but we can trade products and services back and forth all we want. I mean, there's no reason to cut these people out of the economy, to say nothing about Venezuela and Iran, We are butting ourselves into the business of a country who, quite honestly, has not done us any wrong. They really haven't. And again, back in 1917, there were 4 countries, France, Japan, United Kingdom, the United States, who sent troops into Russia to help the Tsar, Nicholas II. They joined his White Army to try to put down the Red Army. It didn't work. The Red Army won. Now, at the time, of course, we had just entered World War I, so we were stretched a little thin as it is militarily. You can make up all excuses like that all day long, though. But the point is, we should not have done that. We should not have gone into Russia. We had no business doing that. The Russians had their own issues there. The workers were being treated like garbage. They had a communist revolution, or a socialist revolution, really. And Vladimir Lenin, he started off his leadership in Russia by giving a lot of that land back to the people. It was only when, he had an aneurysm, Joseph Stalin seized power, he saw that the West was getting aggressive with NATO and everything after World War II, and it was like, okay, we need to start industrializing more and to catch up with the West. And so he took a lot of that land back from the people, and everything became government run. It became a thorough totalitarian regime. And everything became about militarization and technological advancement in weaponry and all that other stuff. Now, obviously, you have some of those horror stories of you had to fill out all this paperwork to go anywhere in Russia or the Soviet Union or even outside the country, which was even a more arduous process. And yeah, that's terrible. I would disagree with that completely. I would never want to be in a situation like that. But that doesn't give us the right to go meddling in their fucking business. Just as they have no right to go meddling in ours. But here's the thing. We have been meddling in other people's business for decades. Why are we still doing this? Again, it goes back to my original point earlier. Profit. Profit, 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 profit. And when that reason has run its course, well, let's come up with another reason to continuously violate international law and commit war crimes on a mass scale. Let's see. Oh yeah, more profit. Can never have enough profit, right? Weapons manufacturers. You have Raytheon, Boeing, Halliburton, Honeywell, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, all these places. These are the true criminals. The war industry is a criminal industry. No war should ever be paid for privately. And war should only be in defense of a homeland. Never go overseas and meddle in someone else's country, messing things up for people who didn't do us any harm. That's how you make the problem worse. And of course, these politicians we have are all bought and paid for by the military-industrial complex and the banking industry and big oil and all them. So, a message like this is just going to fall on deaf ears, and they're going to continue to do whatever the fuck they want. My advice would be this. We should listen to Ukraine's advice. Settle down. Stop antagonizing Russia. Even our own NATO allies are like, what are you fucking doing right now? Russia's no threat. We want to do business with Russia. Why are you aggravating them? That's going to strain the NATO alliance. Yeah, didn't think about that, did you, Washington? Didn't really think all this through. You were too busy measuring your dick. You were too busy beating your chest, telling everybody you're number one, and we gotta appear strong. Ugh. You have no idea what strength is. You have no fucking idea what strength is. If you were a real strong government, if you had any fucking sense at all, what you would do is you would give us universal health care, tuition-free college. You would have a real infrastructure bill, not that corporate giveaway package. You would have universal pre-K, universal child care, and we would have living wages. We would be able to unionize at a mass scale, and we would have a system set up where if employers want to leave, they have to help their employees transition to their own business before they leave. Wouldn't that be so much better? I think that would be awesome. But of course, they're stuck in the past, and a lot of these people I just happen to think are like geriatrics who are past their midlife crisis, and they remember the days of their youth when America was the best and we were number one, and we showed those damn Ruskies who was boss, and just all that, man. I think they just long for their glory days again in many cases. But at the end of the day, it's all about money. It's all about profit. War profiteering is, in some places, and should be a crime here in the States. But it's not. It's Tuesday. You want to make money? Okay, great. How do you want to do it? We want to start wars all over the world. Great. Freedom and liberty. There's nothing free or liberating about going to war and ruining someone else's country and the lives of thousands or even millions of people who did nothing to you. When are we going to fucking learn? When are we going to fucking learn? We've got to stop this from happening, guys. Whatever it takes. I don't know. Pressure these people all you can. Pressure Washington and, call the media out too. The media is just as complicit here. They're just boom, 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 boom. War, 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 war. Money, money, money. Because that's who advertises on their network, particularly CNN and MSNBC. So the only one lately who in the mainstream media has been anti-war has been, believe it or not, Mr. White Supremacy himself, Tucker Carlson. I mean, that guy has just got the most obnoxious voice, the most punchable face, a lot like Ben Shapiro. But he's right on this. He's right about that. Don't go to war with Russia. Ain't worth it. You want to be number one? Here's a clue. Give people health care. Give people free college. Upgrade our infrastructure without selling it off to private interests. That's a start. And another thing is, if you really are number one, people see you're number one. You don't have to constantly go around telling people you're number one. That means you know deep down that you're not number one. Projection does not work anymore. No one's buying into it. Leave Russia the fuck alone. Listen to Ukraine. Ukraine is close to Russia. They know what's going on. We are just interested in global homogeny. We just want to dominate the market. Another reason to get rid of capitalism, because it causes us to do shit like this. Okay. I'm going to slow down here before I pass out from talking too much. So anyway, yeah, this is the state of affairs right now. I mean, we're dealing with war profiteers who have been at the helm of our foreign policy really since World War II, maybe even a little before that. Some argue as far back as the Spanish-American War. We really need to change into a green and renewable energy technology economy. We need a lot better agriculture. We got to get away from this industrial farming, focus on more local farming. Just find other ways of running the economy than going to war all the time. It may have lifted us out of the Depression in World War II, but there was a reason to go to war in World War II. Not Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was based on lies too, but we were attacked by Japan. I'm not, dissing that. We were defending ourselves after that, and we helped to defeat Nazi Germany. That was good, but it should have ended there. The military-industrial complex should have been dismantled at that point, but it wasn't. And Eisenhower warned us. And now here we are. So let's put pressure on, guys. Let's try to prevent World War III if we can. No guarantees they'll listen, but if you put enough pressure on them, you might be able to de-escalate to the point where you can at least create some wiggle room to where we can start working to avoid it altogether down the road.